Hey guys, this is Alex in Automotive and More, and today we're going to talk about what the best suspension, in my opinion at least, in a budget is, and this is how it came out. So right now we're still on stock size tires. These are about to get replaced, but what I have in the front is Bilstein 6112s with stock upper control arms. I'll talk in a second why I kept the stock upper control arms. Give you guys a view on how that looks. And in the back we have Bilstein 5100s. And I'll give you guys a look there. The only things I haven't added are the sumo springs in the back. The sumo springs being the bump stops. I do have those at home. I just haven't bolted them up. And I did add Bilstein B12. Hopefully you guys can see that there. Maybe let's go to the next side. Bilstein B12 1.5 inch lift coils in the back. So they look like regular coil springs. Nothing great to see there. So the truck has the slightest rake to the rear, so it's 1.5 inch higher in the rear than stock and 2 inches higher in the rear in the front. So those are the settings that we put the front suspension in, and it came out absolutely great. So why no upper control arms? Because at 2 inches you're really not getting any benefit to upper control arms. They're not a limitation to droop or articulation, so no reason there. They're plenty strong, and alignment angle can be adjusted quite well with the stock upper control arms. As a matter of fact, you can actually run into some problems with those upper control arms that do address caster in them, because they would push the top of the tire back and actually put the tire closer to the fender well towards the back. So with stock upper control arms, they stay in a neutral position and you will have plenty of space. As you guys can see there, tires turned all the way, plenty of space, and that should be more than enough for me to fit the two 85s. I may have to do a little bit of trimming here in the front, but that's no biggie. Suspension, why I changed it. This truck originally was stock in the rear, and the dealership had installed a rough country spacer on top of the coils. It gave the leveled look, so the truck always looked good in that aspect, but the truck rode like shit, and I don't think it was specifically due to it having a spacer, but it's just because, you know, these these 4RUNNERs inherently have a lot of body roll. Anybody that owns them, you guys that are the viewers and know how these trucks run on stock suspension, they have a lot of body roll, and they have a lot of nosedive when pressing the brake, and if you hit the gas hard, they'll also dive back. And I absolutely wasn't happy with that, especially taking turns at any speed. You know, you felt like you were tipping over to the side, which was definitely not inspiring to drive the vehicle. So with this suspension, it does feel quite a bit stiffer, but stiffer in a good way. I don't want to, you know, make anybody think that this is harsh by any means. It is not. It's just more controlled. You do feel the road maybe a little bit more than what you felt it with the stock suspension, but in a good way, and with big bumps or off-roading. I haven't taken it to any serious off-roading yet, but I've had it on some dirt roads. It does feel a lot more controlled, and it does soak up the bigger bumps way better than the OEM suspension. It feels way better. The nosedive, I want to say 80% of it is gone, which is plenty good for what I wanted and my expectations. The body roll is I would say 90% of it is gone compared to before. The vehicle just turns, brakes, accelerates so much nicer with this suspension. I can't emphasize that enough. It's such a nice upgrade to how these vehicles ride. I actually, you know, this could be either a positive or a negative, but I actually find myself driving it a lot faster now because it feels sportier and it feels really good. Also with not having a spacer, you know, it's, you know, a little bit of comfort too. You know, you don't have to worry about upward travel being limited in any way. Not that I think it probably would have made too much of an effect. I think the bump stop would have probably stopped it before the spacer would have been an issue. But it's better this way. This is the way that it should be. No spacer, no nothing on the suspension. Just set up to the correct settings. So would I recommend this? Absolutely. The 6112s in the front, 5100s in the back have been absolutely great for me. I've already had it for a few thousand miles. The wife noticed the difference. I've definitely noticed the difference. It's a welcome upgrade. Us being that we're going to put bigger tires on it, it's also going to be a shock with a lot more volume, a way bigger body that's going to control those bigger, heavier tires much better than the OEM shocks would. If you would see them compared one to the other, the 6100s, 6112s, sorry, look monstrous compared to the stock shocks in thickness. In you know, the shaft is probably 3 times as big. And as you guys know, when these vehicles get abused hard, usually the breaking point is right here, that little shaft there where the shock body ends and it connects to the control arm. That shaft body is much thicker on a 6112. Should not be an issue on this. The rear suspension with the 1-inch lift, that was another issue and complaint that we had with this vehicle when it was stock, is you put any amount of weight on this vehicle and it would sag. It would squat, you know, quite a bit very easily. And then if you drove at night, as these vehicles have high headlights already, with any amount of weight, everybody would think that you had the high beams on and everybody was flashing you. That's been much less of an issue since I put those B12 Springs with the 5100 shocks on it. I don't get high beamed nearly as much now that it has a little bit of a rake again. And the truck just doesn't squat when you put, you know, 300-400 pounds of weight in the back. You know, it doesn't even get to level now, and it's absolutely what I was looking for. Not only that, it doesn't feel harsh. It feels better than OEM in every single way. So again, rear suspension came out great. I'm going to put those Sumo spring bump stops just to give it a little bit more cushion, because we do load this vehicle up quite a bit from time to time, and we'll be replacing those rubber bump stops there, which if you ever do engage those bump stops, they tend to be quite harsh. But yeah, next upgrade is going to be, well, I already have it, I just haven't installed it, to be getting rid of these Nitto ridge grapplers. This vehicle has about 37,000 miles right now, and it's time. They're starting to get low on tread. They look good from far away, but once you get closer to them, you start looking at the tread, you know, they're definitely low. And here in Florida, where it rains a lot and this is the family vehicle, I definitely want to have the good tires for the rain. That way this vehicle isn't sliding or hydroplaning. But yeah, I mean, they've, you know, to give them a fair chance, they've lasted 37,000 miles, and you know, it's time. I did expect them to last a little bit longer, and I could probably squeeze, you know, 5,000 to 10,000 more miles out of these, but I'm just, you know, I don't really, you know, I don't have a necessity to do that. I'm gonna change them now and get some good tires for it and not have to worry about tires for a few years. I am replacing them with other Nitos, but not the Ridge grapplers. I'll be replacing them with the Recon grapplers. I made a video on why I chose the Recon grapplers, but it should be a little bit more of a compromise for the street and ride quality and noise. These have gone a little bit noisy now that they're older, but that is to be expected as well with older tires. But even with the older tires, you know, that are drier and noisier, this suspension has made the truck feel amazing. So if you guys have any questions about this setup could be lifted a lot more in the front. You know, it's adjustable depending on where you put the clips. Bilstein has a little guide on how to set it up for what lift height. I believe it goes all the way to 2.5 or 2 3/4 inch lift. This is right now at 2 inches. This is about as high as I would go with stock upper control arms. If I was going to go any higher, which I definitely could, I would put aftermarket control arms. Just beware of what you're doing with the control arms. Make sure you get a control arm that you can put it at least at a neutral position for the top. If you're planning on not doing a body mount chop on this vehicle, because if you're going to run 285s or larger, you're going to want the caster to be adjusted from the bottom control arm, and you want as much positive caster as possible. That is going to be key. I think this vehicle right now is sitting at about 3.2 degrees caster on both sides, pushing the tire as much as it would go forward, with the other angles being correct. So that should give me plenty of space to run 285s with no body mount chop, which is ideally the goal. So this being a X Series 4Runner TRD off-road, it came with these wheels and tires. One of the things they do is that they trim the front bumper already at the dealer. It's trimmed, but you do have to trim or push forward the inner liner. So I'm pretty sure I won't have to touch the bumper, but I'm absolutely sure that this liner here needs to get pushed as much forward as possible. I'm either going to put new holes on it and push it forward, or I'm going to get a heat gun with gloves. Gotta be very careful. Put a lot of heat into that and then just mold it forward to get it out of the way, and that should be plenty of room for the 285s. But I think it's going to look absolutely great with 285s. What do you guys think? Anything different that you guys would have done on this setup? I don't want anything extreme personally. This vehicle gets used by the wife mostly, and it's used to haul the family around with the kid, the dog, the cat, and all that stuff. So too much height, too much tire was not in the books for this round of upgrades. In the future, if we do get another vehicle, yeah, maybe this one will be a little bit more of a purpose build, but right now we need it to look cool and we need it to be a very practical vehicle, which I think I achieved that with this setup. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. I'll be glad to answer them. If you guys want to like and subscribe, I will greatly appreciate that. It helps the algorithm and it helps me make more videos like this or other videos that you guys request on either this vehicle or the GMC Sierra. And if you guys want to give me a follow on Instagram, is at CarbonPro AT4. And that's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.